But this video came out that says how Israelis are brainwashed.
You've probably asked yourself, how does someone react to genocide? Like this.
We, your baby's here.
The answer is they've been conditioned to, and it starts in their education system. Here are 3 examples of how Israel teaches the dehumanization of Palestinians. According to this Israeli professor's research, Israeli textbooks show Palestinians, or Arabs as they're called, as caricatures of primitive farmers, hordes of refugees, or they're masked and painted as terrorists.
You cannot find one photograph of a human being who is a Palestinian.
And it might explain how you end up with videos like this.
We need to kill Arabs.
The way they are represented are as the problems and threats. And since they never or hardly ever meet Palestinians face to face or speak to them, although they may live 50 to 100 meters from them, this is what they know.
If you type map of Israel in Hebrew into Google, this is what you'll get. Notice how a lot of these maps have no clear markings showing the occupied West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip, all of which are internationally recognized as illegally occupied Palestinian territories. You'll also find that
This is, I will say, this is the other thing. Let me continue to, I wanted to say 2 pieces of conversation, I guess. Number 1, this is the same shit that Americans do with Africans, or rather like South Africans, where I'm sure, unfortunately, everyone here who spends time on Twitter has now noticed that their algorithm is completely fucked and that there are pages that literally are just right-wing, like far right-wing freaks. And they post memes about how the white man has like saved the black man and introduced them to technology. And everyone knows that Africa is just huts. And that's it. Meanwhile, I think the most recent one that I saw was like, it was a meme that said like white cities, Asian cities, Hispanic cities, and it was like all like major cities. Like I think there was like a city in Brazil, and there was like I don't know, like I think like Tokyo was one of them. And then for the African city, they just put like a hut. That's a little racist, I think. I think that's a little racist, actually. Like, if you spent even 2 seconds on Google, here is one of the major cities in Nigeria. This shit look like a hut to you? Literally, you just need to do one Google search. And, you know, solidarity with people who have to read that racist-ass garbage. It's the same shit with, like, Arab people. It's like, Arab civilization, yeah, right. All they have is Islam, terrorism, and camels. And it's like, sir, this is what Lebanon looks like. Sir? This is one city that Arab people live in. One. Nah, this was it. This was the racist ass shit that I saw. Asian castles, European castles, African castles. And then this person actually amended it showing an actual castle. It's like, dude, you think it's funny that you're showing everyone how much of like an ignorant dumb fuck you are? Okay. I, I don't mean to be an asshole or anything. Okay. The landscape in like England isn't great. Okay. There's a reason those motherfuckers went to colonize everything else. And because all you have is marshland, cold, and rain. Okay. Very depressing shit. Very depressing. All right. You know what's not depressing? Living off the Mediterranean coast. Those cities are gorgeous. Pick any country that lives off the Mediterranean coast, and you will see like the most beautiful cities you've ever witnessed. And then to like to then later be like, LOL, these Arab people, they're all just barbarians. It's like, sir. Okay. Yeah. Tunis. Or is it, that's what Arab people call it, or at least my Arab people call it. It's like, dude. Arab city, by the way. Arab city, by the way. Arab city, by the way. That looks like the Overwatch map. It does look like Ilios. Or like, do I need to pull up a picture of Casablanca? Do I need to? Do I even need to? Arab city, by the way. I promise you, most of these people in this photo are Arab, and most of the people in this photo are Muslim. We have the same memes in Portuguese Twitter, which is even stupider because the best monuments in Portugal and Spain are Arab. It's just. Brother, do you know where the richest Americans go? They go to fucking Dubai. When people think of like the rich city that people go to, it's Dubai. Now, of course, I have my issues with Dubai. It's mostly the fact that everything there is with slave labor. All right. And I have a million issues with Dubai. Million. I mean, I have a million issues with like United Arab Emirates, like just as a concept. But we're gonna shelf that for 2 seconds. Okay. There is a reason when we think of like American rich people or like rich people or like billionaires, there's a reason when you think of like where they go, it's Dubai. And I don't know how to say this. That area, it's all Arabs. Okay. It's also Arab people there. Now, of course, again, like I said, it's built off of slave labor. The architecture is disgusting. There's a lot of good videos from, I think, Strong Towns and the guy who makes the really good videos on cars. And it's all paid for by oil. Yeah. But please just Please. Okay. Like this is crazy that people still think of like Arab people and then they just think of like terrorists that live in like destroyed buildings. Not just bikes, I think has a good video on what a shit show that country is. Or that city rather is. Yeah. Yeah. Africa's the richest continent, but the evil Westerners keep stealing and stopping their development. I mean, yeah, there's you're lying. There's no Arabs in Arab cities like Dubai. They can only destroy. They can't build. Yeah. Also, there's lots of Jews that are also Arab. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But yeah, I mean, the continent of Africa is unbelievably rich. It's just that the continent of Africa also happened to be exploited. You know? I mean, and like, we'll say one other thing also on this. Oh, was it Adam something that had a video on Dubai? I think, actually, you're right. My bad. My mistake. Overexploited, not underdeveloped? Yes. Uh-huh. One other thing I was going to say. And is this not just the same reused rhetoric about indigenous people in the Americas? Is that not just the same thing that we called these people barbarians and we did nothing but disrespect them? We as in like Americans or people who took over that land, right? And then we slaughtered them and took all their resources and took all of their land. Oh, these people, they're savages that live in huts. Meanwhile, stealing their delicious food, their delicious crops, their delicious agriculture, and stealing all the land that, and I will say this, the United States is one of the land that the United States is built on is one of the most gorgeous places on earth. Yellowstone Park. Have you guys seen that shit? It's beautiful. I need to go in real life at least once. The Grand Canyon? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Y'all see this shit? Yosemite? Brother, these places are like beautiful. There is so much in the United States or like the land that the US is built on that is beautiful, gorgeous. I mean, even just go anywhere in fucking Colorado that isn't like a major city or even some places that are cities. It's gorgeous. Oh my God. Y'all see this shit? And I won't lie, okay? My opinion is tainted, or rather colored, by my love for art history. And art history, one of the classes that I took in art history, was, it had a section dedicated to American landscape paintings, and landscape paintings weren't super big or like common, I guess I would say. Because what the fuck are you gonna paint? The ugly ass fucking marshes in the UK? What are you gonna paint? The fact that there's no sun anywhere? Bruh. All right. When Europeans came and conquered and fucking colonized the US, or like North America, there was this huge spike in landscape paintings. And it's because these people were mesmerized by the same shit that still exists today, that's still just as beautiful today. And they popped the fuck off. Like, there's a reason people came here, all right? There's a reason people came here and then they stayed here. And it's because this place is fucking beautiful. All right? And don't get me wrong, I'm a city gal. I won't lie. I'm a city slicker. I like me some concrete jungle. All right? I'm not even going to front. All right? I love living in major cities. Okay? I love New York. I fucking love New York. I fucking love living in New York. Okay? But I also really love everything that exists in nature. I think we can enjoy both. I think major cities are gorgeous. And I also think moon-shaped pool. No, obviously I'm just joking around. I'm just being hyperbolic. There's obviously lots of really gorgeous places in Northern Europe. I will say though, from the people that I've spoken to who live in Europe, who live on like in the areas of Europe that get like 2 hours of sunlight in winter, that shit sounds depressing. That shit sounds really depressing. I get depressed living in Cali, and when it's wintertime and we only get like a couple hours, we like lose the hours of 4 to 8 p.m. That's gone. Like, because in the summer, we get a nice solid like 12 hours of sunlight, right? Maybe more, probably like 15 hours of sunlight. Like the sun comes up at like 5 or 6 and it stays out until like 7:30. Amazing. Great. And then when we lose just like 4 to 5 hours, I'm like, I guess there's no point in living. Time to sit on my computer. Yay. I can't imagine only having 2 hours of sunlight in the winter. I would cry. I would cry so bad. Oh my God, dude. This post had to be bait. I refuse to believe that it wasn't bait. No way, right? No way. The Grand Canyon has so much potential. Why haven't we done this yet? No. It's bait. It's bait. It's bait. It's bait. It's bait. It's bait. I refuse. Walmart? Are you fucking kidding me? But yeah, I don't like the people that subscribe. One second. I don't like the people that subscribe to. No, not you guys. I love the people that subscribe at the top of the hour every hour to avoid ad breaks. Those people are my favorite people. Especially the ones that use their Amazon Prime and are able to subscribe for free to this channel and get all of the emotes provided and be able to skip the top of the hour ad break every hour. No, I don't like people that subscribe to the ideology where it's like, nature is so beautiful and mankind destroys everything it touches.
No more adspocracy.
No, it's cars. Okay, it's cars that destroy everything.
What?
What did you say? Chocolate. They're selling what? Chocolate. Oh, sweet, sweet chocolate. I remember when they first invented it. I always hated it. Anyway, I don't know why I went on. Sometimes, sometimes you just let the brain go where it wants to, okay? Recon Legend, thank you for the 3 months. Sheriff Shirufa? How do you pronounce your name? Thank you for the 6 months. Zeke, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Anyways, yeah. I don't like the people that subscribe to the eco-fascism or subscribe to the, the earth would be better off without people. It's like, okay, Mr. Misanthrope. Okay. Actually, I think cities, like major cities, are beautiful. And I think that that is one additional thing that is beautiful on this earth. I just think it's sad when we destroy national parks so that we can build a fucking freeway. Okay? I just think it's sad when we destroy beautiful landscapes so we can put a bunch of fucking cars there. I think gorgeous walkable cities that integrate human living and environmentalism are really cool, actually. I think that that's actually really, really cool. You know? Imagine a city that runs on green energy, fully renewable green energy, fully sustainable public transportation, high rises, high density living. Those places are beautiful. Are you kidding me? Those places are gorgeous. Anyhow, well, thanks, Beck. All right, sorry. You guys know me. I could complain about cars all day. All right. This city is definitely AI because no one would imagine there to be this many trees in an American city. Also, not in a fucking desert. There would not be that many trees in a fucking desert. Are you kidding me? Christ. Dude, I get so mad every time I pass by places in California that have, or rather in LA, that have giant lawns. It's like, you're wasting so much fucking water. And for what? And for what? Anyways, moving on. Moving on. I think national parks are huge. I think the day that America loses its national parks is the day that this country has become unsavable. Genuinely, that is when it's unsavable. We need a 40-lane superhighway in Houston so we don't have to fix the potholes anywhere else in the state. Oh, true. All right. Embrace native biodiversity. Yes, yes. Dude, native biodiversity, though, just if you are a homeowner, I bet you feel a lot better than the rest of us. We're all jealous of you, okay? But if you are a homeowner and you are buying a home in a place that does not get a lot of water, that is like a desert landscape, please don't fucking grow grass, dude. Please don't. You're going to have to waste so much water to keep that grass alive. And for what? For an ugly ass green carpet on your fucking road? No. No, dude. Biodiversity. Here, let me pull up a picture of one of those here. This is a good one. Embrace biodiversity, okay? Embrace using and growing the plants that are native to that region. Because guess what? You can put in so little work and it'll naturally grow. Because it's native to that region. You don't really have to do that much work. Also, it's less depressing. I'm sorry. Natural foliage and some flowers and stuff, it looks way prettier than some ugly ass grass. IMO. This is based. This is sexy. This is not. Okay. HOA Association has joined the chat. Yeah, sorry. If you live if you are at the whims of your HOA, it's beyond your control. I apologize. Sorry. But if you don't, and your HOA doesn't really care, do this shit, man. Don't just fucking grow some ugly ass grass, dude. It's gonna cost you way more money. You are harming the environment. It's gonna look uglier. Okay. And it's more work to maintain. Why? Why would you put something that's ugly and requires so much work to maintain? This is in Arizona. Dude, you're really going to look me in the eyes and tell me that you would rather live in Arizona with a fucking green grass lawn than have this in your yard? Like, really? Are you kidding me? If that's how you feel, that's fine, I guess. You can live your best life, man. I think that this is beautiful. I think this is way more gorgeous than some ugly ass fucking grass that you have to mow the lawn for every fucking week. Okay. I think that this is gorgeous. And I like the fact that it's zero effort and zero work. And that naturally your yard just wants to stay like this. Even the way that we're taught to garden is lawnified in the sense that a proper garden is integrated and mixed rather than neatly grown in rows. Yeah. Although I will say there are certain things that you don't, that you do want to put to the side, like mint, because mint will obliterate your yard. Okay. And I think rosemary as well. When you grow a little, your entire yard is just going to become mint. So there are some things that you do need to segregate, sadly, in the yard because they are just so easy to grow that they are naturally going to want to take over the rest of your yard. Unless you don't mind having an entire yard filled with mint, because that's based also, okay? Also pumpkins. I've also heard zucchinis do this as well. Zucchinis will destroy your yard and you're just going to have zucchinis for the next 20 years. More zucchinis than you can know what to do with. Concept of food forest is standing to catch.
Denims, this guy looks like a K-Kona, but he's all about biodiversity and getting rid of lawns. He's quite popular.
Link. Grasses and wildflowers can live longer than trees, but we can't prove it. Let's watch some of this. Let me see. Reels. I love me a K-Kona looking motherfucker, but is actually based because I think those people do a lot to de-radicalize chuds. IMO. Oh man, I'm always so terrified of like audio on websites that aren't YouTube.
It's a brush harvester. Okay, it's off now. I'm going to show you how this thing works. Basically, it has this big brush that works like a street sweeper, and you can raise and lower this machine by using this hydraulic jack right here. But that's really one of the only ways to tweak this machine to change it for collecting different types of seeds. Although they do make different types of brushes you can put on these, and you can swap the motor around so the brush spins in a different direction. And you just pull it with a
What's this guy talking
four-wheel
about?
nut. This is what I've collected so far. So yeah, this is what it's collected. The only issue is it collects pretty much any seed you run this thing over. And if we dig down to the bottom, we should have some black-eyed Susan seeds down here. Yeah, look at that. A bunch of black-eyed Susans, a bunch of rushes and sedges. But all this green stuff is black-eyed Susans, so that's mostly what I'm trying to run it over. And by the way, this isn't ours. We're borrowing it from our friends at Roundstone Native Seeds, and we're trying to get as much use out of it as possible. And we're back at it.
Oh.
This is a brush harvester.
Oh, okay. So basically trying to he's seed collecting. Okay. Let me see this one.
So I'm out here setting this field of gama grass on fire. We're doing it to help wildlife, and I know that goes against everything you've been told. But burning in the fall helps promote wildflowers like this golden top. And these wildflowers become food for all types of wildlife, especially pollinators. And those pollinators become food for other species of wildlife. Having great native plant diversity is the foundation of the food chain. This also helps keep this open and keeps woody vegetation from encroaching. So this stays an open field of native warm season grasses and native wildflowers. And we know that's important because it provides food, but it also provides cover. especially nesting cover and safe places to raise their young. So without fire, we lose that cover. Trees fill in, we get a closed canopy forest, and then look, there's no cover left. Without this cover and food, they have nowhere to go. They slowly get picked off by predators, and we blame those predators. The real reason we've lost quail and songbirds is because we've lost this. We mow it over or we suppress fire. So I'm out here setting this field of gama grass on.
You know what this reminds me of? I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a nerd really quickly. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of the scene in like Avatar Last Airbender where I guess like during the character arc for Zuko, where he finds out that fire isn't just for destruction, but that like fire is life. You know? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I don't know. I just don't remember anything else about the scene, so I can't even find it if I wanted to. But if someone else can find it, please. Thematic spoiler for a show that came out 2 decades ago. Yeah. Yeah. And also there's a big reason why indigenous people had controlled fires and then we didn't fucking listen to them. And then we got unbelievably uncontrollable fires in California because we refused to listen to the fact that controlled fires are based. Dragon dance? Dancing dragons? Is that... This? Anyways, enough of that gay shit, guys. Enough of that. Enough nerd shit. But yeah. Yeah. Fires are not inherently bad, and they are useful, and we should listen to the people who actually lived in these regions and understood how to cultivate these regions and understood how to best help the diversity of the land, okay? So you guys heard me right. Go get a lighter and light everything you see on fire. Okay. Moving on. Wow, we really got stun locked. Sorry about that.
This map in Israeli textbooks. It's how you end up with illegal settlers colonizing more and more Palestinian land, claiming it's their God-given right.
This, all this, what you see, it's belong to Israel.
And it's how you end up with scenes like this.
You have this necklace?
That's Palestine, yeah.
This is Israel.
הארץ שלנו. כל הארץ! כולל עזה!
Students in Israel are taught about the Holocaust starting in nursery school all the way to the 12th grade. Part of that learning is looking at horrifying images or exercises that encourage students to put themselves in the shoes of the victims.
Which I will say is based. I think teaching generations about the Holocaust, and I think having this photography, having these videos is good. I think it's good, especially considering how many fucking pieces of human garbage Nazis there are that constantly try and rewrite history and pretend like it didn't happen, right? And I mean, I felt like she said starting in preschool. Okay, I don't know about preschool. Okay, I think that's like maybe 7th grade, maybe 7th grade. Just because I don't think learning about that type of violence so young is probably good about. I don't know enough about child development, but I think middle school is probably a good time, right? And I think honestly, America needs better education about America needs better education just in general, but America needs better education in the Holocaust and stuff, because it's crazy that people refuse to believe the shit. Something like 30% of Americans don't even believe it happened at all. It's fucking insane. But that's also why, I mean, we've talked about this before. That's also why taking all of the photos and all of the gear and keeping these places existing, like not demolishing them and instead using them as like museums to teach people and to show people so that we never forget this travesty. That's good. It's good. You know, it sucks, but you can't just rewrite history and only keep the good parts about human civilization. You should keep the bad stuff about human civilization too, because how will you ever learn from it? Now, unfortunately, they don't teach about the Nakba in Israel, which I think if you're teaching kids about the Holocaust, you should also be teaching kids about things like the Nakba. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. I mean, I honestly, I think one of the most valuable things that I remember learning in public school, because history is dependent, or like the history you should be learning or kids should be learning is going to be more specific to the region or the country that they're growing up in. But I remember one of the most valuable classes or English classes that I ever had was like 8th grade or something, or like 9th grade. We read a bunch of texts from racist slave owners trying to convince other people that actually Black people want to be slaves. Actually, they don't want to be free. They honestly, we're saving them by giving them God and Christianity. Because that was very eye-opening. It was like, holy shit. Like little kid me, little 12, 13-year-old me learning about that. I was like, that's pretty fucked up. That's crazy. Actually. Whoa. But it helps you not fall for bullshit propaganda in the future. If you learn from a young age that dehumanizing the enemy and pretending like any human being deserves to be treated less than another human being, like teaching that type of shit, or like showing people that we've done it historically, I feel like it makes you a little bit, it becomes a little bit easier to not fall for it in the future, right? I feel like learning about that, like little kid me learning about that, made me not fall for any of the propaganda that exists now that convinces us that we should dehumanize any group of people, right? And there's a lot of Americans who don't grow up with this, and that's why they think, unironically, why should we give a fuck about people that die from COVID in other countries? Did they consider they should have been born somewhere else? It's not my fault their society is underdeveloped. And it's like, whoa, dude, you are dehumanizing the fuck out of those people. Those are still people, just like you and me, man. There is no difference between you and someone in another fucking continent, okay? They don't deserve to die. You know what I mean? But what about a state's right to dehumanize people? Oh, well, that's fine. The state can do whatever it wants, obviously. Duh. See, thank you for the gift, so thank you. So yeah, I think it's not wrong to be teaching kids about this type of stuff. It's wrong when you're teaching a one-sided narrative. Wow, really groundbreaking content here. Oh my God. Another news, grass is green.
Relate to the experience. The identification of students with the victims isn't a coincidence. It's an intentional policy by the Israeli Ministry of Education. It's how you end up with a society where, according to one Israeli professor, every Jewish Israeli citizen is a Holocaust survivor or a potential victim of future Holocaust-like events.
That's insane. Considering that Arab Jews lived in that region for generations. That I mean, you can watch the street interviews where Palestinians say, we don't want to remove all Jews from Palestine. If you've been here just as long as like our ancestors have been here, you shouldn't be removed. We just don't think settlers should be here. If you're a Jewish settler, yeah, you should get the fuck out of our country. Yeah, that's based. That's just based. Mizrahi Jews were mostly safe. Sephardic and Ashkenazi were never safe. Yeah, that's true.
The goal is traumatization and revenge, and not to let the fire of vengeance die out. However, this vengeance is not directed towards the German persecutors and their collaborators in Europe, but towards Palestinian colonized subjects who are Nazified.
Holy shit.
The fact that Palestinians had nothing to do with the Holocaust and that they are the ones currently being exterminated seems to be irrelevant. With this weaponization of the Holocaust, Zionism isn't seen for the settler colonial racist ideology that it is, but as the savior of the Jewish people. And it's this thinking and this fear that is weaponized to justify the violence of the Zionist state. That it must exist and do whatever is necessary to defend itself so that another Holocaust would never happen again. That's how you end up with videos like this.
It is a terrorist organization which murders Jews because they're Jews.
Once the Jewish people were defenseless, no longer.
So why does this matter?
Thanks, Slippery.
Israelis spent 12 years in this education system, teaching them to dehumanize Palestinians and see them as people looking to eliminate Jews, not an oppressed, colonized people looking for freedom. And once they graduate, most Jewish Israelis will go straight to the military to do their 2 to 3 years of mandatory service, where they become the front lines of apartheid and occupation. That's how we end up with videos like this. So why do all this? Well, Israel can only exist as a Jewish state if it manages demographics to maintain a Jewish majority. And it does so by displacing, imprisoning, and murdering Palestinians routinely. And the only way to get Jews to participate in this is by convincing them that it's the only way for them to exist safely. Seeing Palestinians as people who want to live in peace and be free doesn't fit into that plan. Subscribe for more and support us.
Yeah, we did that, Kenji. I think like 2 or 3 streams ago. It's just fucking... It's the same shit that the U.S. did in Iraq. Same shit that the U.S. did in Afghanistan. No, there's no people there that just want nothing to do with the problem. You don't understand. The terrorists that are threatening our freedom, our American freedom, are there. So we need to go and slaughter these people. And then you end up with a bunch of American vets that have PTSD and a bunch of American vets that look back and they're like, you signed me up to go murder innocent people. Nice. I was lied to. Cool. There was a video that I saw on my timeline, I think last week, and it was of a veteran talking about this. Man, wow, it was a while ago. Here we go. Mike prisoner? Says U.S. soldier gives a meaningful and riveting speech about the corruption of the United States government and how capitalism is the primary reason for killing poor people overseas.
And we are here to say to all those serving in the Army and the Marines and the Air Force and the Navy that you have the absolute right to refuse to take part in these criminal wars, and that's a right that all of you should exercise. You have no reason to go put your life on the line and kill and die for profit. We've been to Iraq, we've been to Afghanistan, and we know what these wars are really about. And we joined the military for many reasons. Because we need a college education, because we need a job, because we need health care. And then we joined the military And they tell us that our enemies are poor people in caves in Afghanistan or poor people in the deserts of Iraq. But we've been to those countries, and we know that our enemies are not other poor people abroad. Our enemies are the people that laid us off from our jobs, that denied us health care, that make it impossible to get an education. Our enemies are not in the poorest countries on the planet, but right here in the richest one. Now these wars, the occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan alone are costing over $700 million every single day. This is a crime every single day, while so many of us are hurting. Well, I think all of us here and the vast majority of people in this country would agree that we can spend $700 million a day better than bombing people that we have no reason to bomb. We can spend $700 million a day rebuilding those countries we've destroyed. We can spend $700 million a day caring for the veterans we get home when they get home, and then we can spend $700 million a day giving every single person health care, a college education, a job, and a livelihood, and a home. That's what we need to be spending our money on. But this government is not going to do that. They're not going to use the money in that way. They're not going to end the wars. And they're not going to do it because it's not our government. It's their government. It's the government of the rich. It's the government of Wall Street, of the oil giants, of the defense contractors. It's their government, and the only language that they understand is shutting down business as usual. And that's what we're doing here today, and we're going to continue to do until these wars are over. Well, it's crystal clear now that these wars are going to continue and expand and go into other countries. That is the trend. That is what we know, that there is perpetual war, and it's only going to stop if the people stand up and stop it. And that's what we're going to do, sisters and brothers. And a lot of people ask me, what do we do? Because we all know things are bad. We all see the atrocities on TV. We read about it. We experience it. People always ask, what do I do? Because we always want to know what to do. Do we vote? Do we support a politician? Do we join an organization? What do we do? Well, I'll tell you what we do. It's simple. We fight. We fight, and we fight, and we fight, and we shut down our workplaces. We shut down our schools. We shut down the streets. We shut down business as usual, and we fight until we force the people in there to do what the people out here want. Because that's how we're going to get around, and we're going to fight until there's not one more bomb drop, not one more bullet fired, not one more soldier coming home in a wheelchair, not one more family slaughtered, not one more day.
Is that true, Phil? Oh my God. Yeah, this is the only person that's allowed to be married to Abby Martin, I think, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, actually. I think Abby Martin is the only person that deserves to be married to this guy, and this guy is the only person that deserves to be married to Abby Martin. Holy base, dude. This is like finding out that okay, it's not, but just pretend like it is. Obama, thank you for the tier 1. This is like finding out that the lady who made the mangaka who made Sailor Moon is married to the mangaka who made Hunter x Hunter. Some power couple shit. Yeah. Yeah. And just in case anyone was unsure, this is his Twitter page, and he's tweeting about how much of a piece of shit Biden is for supporting the Gazan genocide. After shoving all that, quote, nice old man with a big heart shit down everyone's throat since 2015, Biden's people still can't hide the entitled old prick underneath it all. He never imagined in a million years that he'd have to pay a price for being a psychotic Zionist. And it's a clip. He retweeted that tweet, and it's a quote tweet of this clip that says, Watch at POTUS, Biden dismisses concerns about rejection by Arab American voters over the Gaza genocide.
Are you concerned with the Arab American vote voting for you during this election because of Gaza? Many say they will not vote for you.
Well, look.
For anyone who didn't hear, because there's a fucking helicopter in the background of some shit. Are you concerned, the interviewer is saying, are you concerned that the Arab American votes are not going to come in for you?
The president wants to put the former president wants to put a ban on Arabs coming into the country. We'll make sure we understand who cares about the Arab population.
You know, the other president was racist against Arabs too. Did you consider that? At least I'm not deporting you guys, okay? And yeah, that's a threat.
Number one. Number two, we got a long way to go in terms of settling the situation in Gaza.
Fuck you, man.